Good morning, everybody. This is Zach Said It Again. I'm your host, Zach Cooley, and I am outside on my front porch having my most very favorite guest that I've ever had on the podcast before. That's my very favorite person, my daughter Bella. Hi, Bella. Thank you so much for being here with me on the podcast.
Hi.
I'm so glad to have you. And I'm so glad that we get to talk about something very special. We get to talk about you turning 8. So, how do you feel about turning 8 years old?
Older.
Did you feel older?
Yeah.
How did you feel older?
Because I'm 8, and 8's a bigger number.
Well, that's true, it is. And you've been in the 2nd grade. You've been in, who's your teacher?
Miss Brewster.
And what do you like best about Miss Brewster?
At the beginning of the year, she let us go out to recess in the morning.
And what do you think you learned from Miss Brewster? What's some important things that you learned from Miss Brewster?
Money.
Learning how to count money. Yeah, that's very important. What else did you learn?
Cursive writing.
Cursive writing. Yep, that's very important. You know, not a lot of teachers teach cursive writing anymore, but I think cursive writing is very important because I think kids need to know how to sign their names and things, and I'm so glad that she taught you that. And Miss Brewster turned out to be your very favorite teacher that you've ever had, right?
Right.
And she was an excellent teacher because you got straight A's for the year. Straight A's all year long. And there's also something very important about your class this year. You had your very best friend in your class. What is your very best friend's name?
Scarlett Spencer.
Right.
And her whole name is Scarlett Nicole Spencer.
Right. And what is your favorite thing to do with Scarlett?
To have sleepovers. And last time we stayed up, we woke up at 4:45.
Yep, you did. Scarlett is your first sleepover guest, right?
Right.
She's the first sleepover you ever had.
Right.
And you got to have a sleepover with Scarlett after you all went to the circus, which, if you listen to the podcast, you will have heard my interview with Skittle Cirque. And you and Scarlett got to meet Skittle and be on the stage and talk to her, and you really enjoyed playing around on the stage with Scarlett, didn't you?
Yep.
And you and Scarlett pretend to be circus performers sometimes?
Girl clowns.
Girl clowns?
Without face paint.
Girl clowns without face paint. Well, I think that's very neat. Do you and Scarlett have clown names?
Bella and Scarlett.
Oh, just use your regular names, huh?
Yeah, we like those names.
And the great thing about Scarlett is that she lives in the neighborhood. Her grandma, Tina, lives in the neighborhood and waiting for that truck to pass by. Tina lives in the neighborhood, and we get to go down and see Scarlett often, don't we?
Yep.
Daddy takes you down, and we go see Scarlett. So, let's see. Let's talk about some of the fun things we've gotten to do this year together. I think the most fun thing we ever have done together, you and I, and we've had a lot of fun, haven't we?
Yeah.
You and me. Is the most fun thing we got to do was last November. And what happened last November?
Genesis.
We got to go see Genesis. And who is Genesis to you?
My favorite band.
Right. And also my favorite band, right? And we got to go see them in Charlotte. Mommy went with us, and our friend Jenny, who is a really big Phil and Genesis fan, she was actually at the Phil concert that your mom and I went to in Washington. She was there, and we had a great time, and I'm so glad Jenny got to go, and our friend David drove us. What was your favorite part of the Genesis concert?
Probably eating pizza.
Eating
Seeing
pizza?
them. And
Yeah.
seeing them.
Yeah, that was fun too. That was fun because we had a great local pizza. He was a genuine Italian, and I came in with my Phil Collins shirt, and he said, "Man, I love Phil Collins." And I said, "We're going to see him tonight with Genesis." But I was asking what your favorite part of the concert was.
Oh, all of it.
You didn't have a favorite song that they did?
No.
You just really enjoyed the whole experience, did you?
Yep.
And so did I. And they played for a long time. They played over 2 hours, but we sure thought that 2 hours was over fast, didn't we?
Mhm.
And then this year, we got to go see 2 more great concerts. What other 2 great people did we get to see?
Paul McCartney and Bonnie Raitt.
Yep. And how did you like Paul McCartney and Bonnie Raitt?
They were good.
And what you liked Paul McCartney probably better than Bonnie Raitt. Before you were a Genesis fan, you were a big Beatles fan, right? And so, what was your favorite part of the Paul McCartney concert?
Everything.
You didn't have a favorite song? Yeah, you did have a favorite song on the Paul McCartney concert. You remember what that was? No, you don't have to sing it. I think the name of the song was Let 'Em In, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, and that's the song that he did with what band? Not the Beatles. What's his other band?
Wings.
Right. And at Genesis, the thing about Genesis is you were probably the youngest person there. And there was about 15,000 people at that show. But at Paul McCartney, you were not the youngest person there. There were people younger than you that were there. There were 40,000 people at that show, and that was the biggest crowd I'd ever seen, and it was huge, wasn't it? Wasn't it crazy trying to get to our seats?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But you got a cool shirt out of the idea that, and you wear that shirt a lot. We couldn't afford the Genesis shirts, but you have one, don't you?
Yep.
That I got for you. Pink one. And you got a Bonnie Raitt shirt. Probably the coolest thing about Bonnie Raitt was we had front row seats, right?
Right.
Yeah. And who did we go with to see Bonnie Raitt other than Mama? Mommy went with us.
Philip.
Yep, our friend Philip. And we also ran into our friend Janie Aston that was there from the library. We know her from trivia nights. So it was great to see her. And where did we eat? Remember where we ate?
At the Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah. And did you like the food there?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I did too. Um, and we had a great time. What's some other fun stuff we've done this year, though? We got to go to ball games at Calfee Park. You want to talk about that when you got the strikeout slider? What was it like going down on that big field?
I felt like a river turtle.
You felt like a real river turtle. Oh, that's neat. And you won too, didn't you?
I got free ice cream.
Free ice cream. Yep, that's right. So, what's some other fun things that you and Daddy do together?
Go outside.
Yep, that's what we're doing right now, isn't it?
Yep.
Sitting out in Hazel's glider, my great aunt Hazel's glider. If anybody has read any of my books, you'll see Hazel and I on the cover of that book sitting in this glider, where I spent many a Sunday afternoons, and now my family and I enjoy that glider. And I always think of her. And Hazel would be so proud that you're in her glider, and are part, and have that as part of our family and what we do. We have lots of neat games when we come outside. What's some of the games we play outside that you make up?
Package help.
Oh, package help. Tell about what's package help.
Where Daddy comes and the workers there, and where Daddy comes, he needs help with getting a package.
Yep, if there's a package that was supposed to arrive at my door and it hadn't arrived, then I come to you and you help me track down where it is, don't you?
Mhm.
And that's something that you came up with and invented on your own. I'll tell you about one of my favorite games that we play outside, and that is when you get up on my lap and you have me recline and recline my power chair, and we look up. And we look up into the sky and we look at the clouds and we see what the clouds look like. It's one of my favorite games. And you play on your swing set outside that Grandmama got for you. And we have lots of fun on that. You showing me all your different acrobatic tricks and everything. And we have a lot of fun with Mommy outside. What kind of games do you play with Mommy outside? Who do you come outside to see a lot of times?
Sketch.
And who is Sketch for the people that are listening?
Half our cat and half our neighbor's cat.
Well, she's the cat that belongs to our neighbors, but she comes over here and gets lots of attention from you and Mama, doesn't she?
Mhm.
And I'm not a big cat fan, but sometimes I'll wait a little truck past. I'm not a big cat fan, but sometimes you make me pet the cat, don't you?
Yep.
And sometimes I'm feeling nice, and I'll pet the cat. You don't even have to ask me.
Yep.
And when I do that, you run straight in and tell Mommy, don't you? Yep. Because you and Mommy love for kids to get attention. And of course, we have a lot of fun with Sophie. Sophie's our dog, and she's 11. But sometimes Sophie sneaks over to the neighbors, and you and me have to go get her, don't we?
Yep, she eats trash.
Yep, she'll eat the neighbor's trash, and we have to get her before
last Christmas Eve or Christmas, she got into the trash and bring some bread and whatever it was.
And she what?
She she bring some bread in or a bun or a hot dog bun,
Oh
whatever
yeah,
it was.
yeah, a hot dog bun from the neighbor's trash. She sure
Yep.
did. Last Christmas, she sure did, and we don't even know where she found it. Cause was that the Christmas a couple years ago that there was snow on the ground?
I think, I don't remember.
Yeah. We don't know how in the world she got that, but where she found it from, just somewhere in their trash. That is for sure. So, would you say you've had a pretty good year?
Yeah.
You had a fun year with lots of fun things?
Uh-huh.
That's great. That's great. And we've had a lot of fun outside and with your friends. Is there any of your is there any of your other friends you want to mention, or something else you want to talk about?
No.
Uh, we have you have another friend across the street.
Mhm.
And what's her name?
Vivian.
Vivian.
Vivian Sophia Bradley.
Yep. And Vivian comes and visits us, and we have a lot of fun with Vivian. Because Vivian has a silly sense of humor like we do, doesn't she? And we laugh at the same stuff. And Sophie loves Vivian too. Another truck passing by. And what else? What else have we done this year that's fun? Can you think of something else? Can you think of something else you've done in school that's fun? You want to talk about any of your... Oh, the art show. Talk a little bit about the art show. And the paintings you had in the art show. You made a rose.
Uh-huh.
Talk about your rose. Your rose was beautiful. What was it made out of?
Clay.
And was it clay colored, or did you have to color it?
We have to color it.
And what color did you color your rose?
Pink.
Because that's your favorite color, isn't it?
Yep.
And you really liked your art teacher.
Mm-hmm.
What's your art teacher's name?
Lindsay Pratt.
Yep, Miss Pratt. And Miss Pratt got Teacher of the Year this year at Spiller. And you have a lot of fun at Spiller. You have a lot of great teachers and people that teach you a lot of cool things, and you learn a lot of neat stuff. And I'm glad you're at Spiller, where it takes such good care of you. Well, one more thing before we close this part. Let's talk about Mr. Hoagland and some of the videos that he plays. Because you learn a lot about musicians and stuff. What was he playing that you knew about?
The Beatles.
Yeah. And who else did he play that you knew about? Who's Daddy been to see that he played? You remember Daddy's first concert? The lady? Who it was? Tina Turner, yeah. And you already knew about Tina. You're one of the few people in your school, I bet, that knew about that stuff that Mr. Hoagland was already playing.
We have a neighbor, Tina.
Yep, we have a neighbor named Tina too. That's Scarlett's grandma. And she lets us come down to her house and visit with Scarlett, and you have fun playing with their group. She also has two daughters, Summer and Sarah, that she plays with some. And we see Shay, who's Scarlett's mom, and Maverick, who's Scarlett's brother. And we enjoy visiting with them. Well, we're about out of time for this one, so thank you, Bugsy, for joining me.
You're welcome.
And she'll be with us next time because we're going to talk about Bella's birthday parties. Just hang with us. We'll be back.